I am Dr. Sugandhi Mohanlal, Professor and Head of the Department of Dermatology, Government Kew Park Medical College, Chennai. I would like to share with you about a common skin problem which the youngsters are facing today, acne vulgaris. Acne vulgaris is a common malady adolescent. It is common enough to be called a physiological process, but it is better regarded as a disease due to its inflammatory component and the disfigurement it produces on the face, which is socially and psychologically the most important body region. It can be defined as a chronic self-limiting inflammatory disease of pilosebaceous unit, manifesting generally in adolescents with pleomorphic lesions like comedones, papules, nodules, and cysts. Extensive scarring can occur. The disease occurs in all races worldwide, affecting 90% of people sometime or the other in their life. Let us see the pathogenesis of acne. The first and most important factor is alteration in the pattern of keratinization within the sebaceous follicle. Next important factor is excessive sex hormone androgen in the circulation, and the third factor is excess sebum secretion. Sebaceous gland hypertrophy and hyperplasia usually occurs in patients with acne, more so in severe acne. Sebum is acnegenic, and when injected in the skin, it causes inflammation. The fourth factor is resident bacterial flora in sebaceous follicle, namely P. acne, P. granulosa, P. ovale, and Staphylococcus epidermidis, plays an important role in the production of acne. In patients with acne, the levels of P. acne per square centimeter were found to be significantly higher than in those without acne. Next, immunological factors and inflammatory events play a role, and the last is environmental factors like hot and humid climate aggravate acne due to increased sweating, and many occupations like soldiers wearing uniforms for long, cooks, people working with oils, and chemicals like halogenated hydrocarbons provide a conductive atmosphere for the development and aggravation of acne. The emotional stress and strain of various types play a significant role in the aggravation of pre-existing acne. Let us see the clinical features. Lesions of acne vulgaris are seen on the sebaceous rich body regions, mainly the face, mid-chest, back, shoulders and upper arms. The scalp is affected in severe cases. Comedones are characteristic early lesions of acne. It may be open or closed. In severe cases, we may see cysts, nodules, abscess, and sinus formation with devastating results. Oily skin is associated feature, and the onset coincides well with puberty. Premenstrual exacerbation has been reported in female patients. It may be due to premenstrual change in the hydration of pilosebaceous epithelium. Sequelae include hyperpigmentation and scarring following deep inflammatory lesions. Up to 90% of patients of acne develop some scarring, but 22% suffer from significant scarring. Acne is associated with greater psychological burden than other chronic diseases. Patients with severe acne and scarring have demonstrated psychological abnormalities including depression, suicidal ideation, anxiety, and other psychomotor symptoms, psychomatic symptoms, social inhibition. So prompt and effective treatment of acne is essential. The aims of treatment are to reduce the follicular bacterial population and reduce lipases, to remove follicular obstruction, to reduce inflammation, to decrease the sebaceous gland activity by blocking androgen stimulation. And the management of acne starts with education of the patient. The patient should be asked to avoid the use of acnegenic drugs, oils, pomades, and heavy cosmetics. Eliminate emotional stress by reassurance and ask for any premenstrual flare and seasonal variation. Assess for endocrine abnormalities if necessary. Regular washing of face with soap and water removes keratinous flakes and the oily layer of sebum. Deep cleanses are useful in obstructing plaques. Selection of treatment modality depend upon the severity, extent of disease, scarring, and psychological effects of acne. For mild involvement, benzoyl peroxide gel as a bacteriostatic agent and salicylic acid as a cleanser, toner, mask, and peel can be used. For moderate cases, we can use topical retinoids and topical antibacterials. Oral antibiotics, hormone therapy, and systemic retinoids are indicated for severe involvement. Cystic acne requires aspiration of the cyst and intralesional injections. Systemic antibiotics and other cytostatic agents also. Adjuvant therapies like comedo expression, chemical pills, microdermabrasion, laser, and light therapies are also used nowadays. Acne surgery includes draining of cyst, and for scars, punch graft, skin resurfacing is laser, cryosurgery, dermabrasion, and other things. Thus, acne can be managed better. I thank the Medical Student Association of India for giving me this opportunity.